Boom!
But can it hear me?
Okay,
Okay.
I got you. Welcome to the NOANO Legacy YouTube channel. We're about to record for my podcast. It's going to be episode 20, titled... I actually don't have a title for this yet. There's going to be an interview guest with the incredible Nicole Harris. She's an entrepreneur, business owner. She's got a lot of great things going on, so I'm excited to actually get this started. I came a little ill-prepared for this one. I normally have 2 headsets like when I did the interview with Danny, but I only have 1. So she's going to have to rely on me that while I'm recording, I can actually hear her and it's not just my voice. So let's see. Oh, that's the wrong way. Talking to the mic?
I'm talking into the mic. Can you hear me?
Hold up. I don't want you to have to...
Is that good?
No, it's gonna fall, so I just do it that way. Okay, right?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yo, so what is up, everybody? Welcome to yet another installment of the NOANO Legacy Podcast. Welcome to episode 20. You already know what I want to do with this platform. It's the same thing since we started episode 1. My goal with this is to be able to help as many people as I possibly can. That's number 1. Number 2 is to educate as many people as I possibly can. Excuse me, English is my second language sometimes. And number 3 is to inspire you to take action on a daily basis, right? It's one thing to have a dream, but it's another thing for you to actually take action towards that dream. And sitting right next to me is someone who is embodying exactly all 3 of those principles. So introducing the amazing Nicole Harris. She's an entrepreneur. I've already said this in the camera, but we're going to say this for the podcast, so just stay with me. She's an entrepreneur. She owns her own business. And this is going to be a really exciting episode for me in particular because we're in a pandemic right now.
We are.
So we're going to really get a little bit of advice on how she's been able to maintain her lifestyle and things like that. So go ahead, give us a little introduction about yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm super excited to be here. So my name's Nicole once again, and I just love the whole idea of entrepreneurship and just spreading as much information as I can. So I'm just happy to be here. I have so much to talk about how the pandemic has affected me, especially my business, because I thought I was super business savvy until this happened. Yep. So I would love to shed light on that, and I'm just super happy to be here. I am an entrepreneur. I started an event planning company. I moved to LA to do it.
Hold on, Nicole. Hold on. We'll get there.
You wanted a bio, though. You wanted a bio, so I'm bringing it down. Okay.
What is it that you do for your business?
Okay, I'm an event planner.
Nice.
And specifically, I am an event planner specializing in weddings and corporate events in LA, New York, and Las Vegas.
Dope. Okay. How's that been for you?
It's been amazing. It's actually been everything I wanted it to be. It's honestly the most stressful job, but honestly, like the whole lifestyle, being able to really affect people's entire days and moments in their lives is a huge, perk to it for me. So I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. So what made you want to pursue the lifestyle of entrepreneurship, other than you said, pretty much lighting up people's worlds with events and things like that? Why not go straight into the business world, 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 10 to 6, whatever the case may be for some people? What made you want to get into the atmosphere of, or the realm of, owning your own business?
So for owning my own business, it was never enough to simply work at a 9 to 5, because I tried that at first. When I grew up, very humble beginnings, so I just knew I wanted to make money to help my family. That was my goal. Yeah. And I thought the easy way would be maybe become a lawyer or something that would just put me on that path as a sure thing. So I tried that, but it wasn't enough. Even if I hit the amount that I wanted to make that I thought was great at the time, it was never enough because I wasn't fulfilled, and I knew the only way to do that was through entrepreneurship, and that is exactly why I just bet on myself and went forward with it, because the feeling of waking up every day, dreading going to work, or just feeling right. Irritated. I woke up every day annoyed, and I just didn't like feeling like that. Right. And I just wasn't into it, and I knew that there was more for me. And when I was working at a 9 to 5, I always knew there was a cap. And I don't want a cap. I want to live how I want, and I want to reach whatever goal I have in my mind versus the number or the figure that the company has structured for me.
So when you say cap, what do you mean?
For example, let's say I was a lawyer, and a firm told me within your first 3 years you can make 100,000, and then but you only get like 21 vacation days for the year.
There we go.
So then there's like caveats to it, and then but don't really take those if you want to still make that amount, because next year if you want to get the promotion to get where you really want to be, now you really should only take about 10 days off.
Yeah.
Because mentally, on paper you have probably a month off, but that's not really how it is, and I realized that very quickly, and that is just not the life I want to live.
Sounds like freedom.
Yes.
Sounds like you really want freedom. My dude is loving me right now.
I know, he's obsessed with you.
Okay, you said something that really sparked interest in me really quickly. Fulfillment. What do you mean by lack of fulfillment in working a regular 9 to 5? And compare that to the fulfillment you have right now in owning your own business. Not right now during the pandemic. We'll get there, guys. Calm down. But specifically, the fulfillment you get by doing what you do.
So the fulfillment that I had before when I was working at a regular job was I was happy when I got paid.
Right.
Like when it was like Friday, I felt like, great, okay, I actually love going to work. Can't wait to go back, right? But then every other day I was like drained, or if I was annoyed, or like things just seemed redundant. And it's just because I honestly feel like I was just working for someone else, and it just wasn't the path for me. And selfishly, I really couldn't do that.
And obviously we share the same philosophies in that. I feel like there's far more to life than going to work and dreading going to work. And that really bothers me. There were so many days while I was overseas and we would be deployed. There were so many days where, man, I would wake up in the morning and I would be like, damn, I don't want to do this anymore. Don't get me wrong, serving my country is an honor, and I would do it again if I had to, if I had the choice to do so. But also understanding that there's more to life than getting into this daily routine of waking up every morning and doing the exact same thing over and over. You get into this cycle and it really messes with you mentally, and it's draining, it's exhausting. So it's always, and I think that's really what drove me to, eventually get to where I'm at now, where I believe in entrepreneurship, I believe in capitalism, I believe in people taking hold of their own destinies, and really just doing what they want to do for the happiness. Yeah. And what I tell a lot of people is, because obviously I'm in real estate, find something, even if you have to work your 9 to 5 for X amount of years, make sure you're putting away money so that you can have supplemental income on the side. So then you can eventually do what you want to do, when you want to do, how you want to do it.
So smart. So
you and I had a discussion recently about how your college experience went.
Yes.
So talk to the fans about the law school thing. The law school thing. This is interesting.
Okay, so this is a story. This is a real story.
Get it.
So I graduated with my bachelor's degree, and for that whole my whole last year of college,
Bachelor's degree in what?
Criminal justice.
Nice.
So my whole undergrad was tailored to law and criminal justice, and I was studying for the LSAT like every day of my life. And I was like interning at law firms. So my whole path was to be a lawyer. That was like my entire goal. I moved to LA. I got into Pepperdine Law School, which is in Malibu, and
love the boo.
Yes, obsessed with it. And it was so hard because I got there and I was like, I got my student ID. I was like, oh my gosh, it says like I'm in law school. My mom had like the law school mom sticker on her car.
Yeah, nice.
We were committed. And then all of a sudden, it was orientation, and I was sitting there, and I was just like, how do I get the hell out of here?
Wow.
And I was just like, I have to leave. And I don't even understand. I was just sitting there. I got my classes, and I started, when I first got there, I was excited. And it was nothing that they said or anything. Like, it was exactly what an orientation would be like. But I just knew I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't go through with it. It wasn't for me. So I literally left. I got in my car in the middle of orientation. I just went to the bathroom, and then I left.
Wow. The middle of orientation.
Yes.
Okay, so I think this is so profound to me specifically because this piggybacks off of what I've talked about with a lot of people before in regards to understanding your purpose in life and understanding, God puts things in us.
100%.
Everybody's got a purpose. God puts things in you. And so when you feel this tug, right, it took all the way until you got to orientation to have that tug be strong enough to tug you out, literally tug you out of orientation.
Yeah.
And then that is what got you on the path of your entrepreneurship. I think that's crazy. The fact that you walked out of orientation. All right. And so now talk to us about, you said you walked out of orientation, and then How did your parents take it?
Man, so that is something. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what happened with my parents is, so I'm driving. I leave the school, and the whole time all I'm thinking about is what am I going to tell them, because they might as well have had Pepperdine tatted. Like, that is how serious they were about this.
Yeah, they were more committed than you.
They were. Like, as soon as I told them about it, that idea was in their head, and they were just like so proud.
Right.
So I was just like, okay, I have to figure out what I'm going to do. And I literally, the drive, it was horrible traffic. So I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? And then I literally was just like, I'm going to stay in LA. I'm going to stay in LA, and I'm going to get an apartment. So I got like the worst studio apartment on earth. Okay, on earth. Like, I had to call the cops so many times. They tried to break in. There were bugs. It was like my worst experience. But I didn't have a job. I had what I saved for college. So I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna grind for a year. And so my method was, when I would visit my parents, to kind of stop them from asking me any questions about it, I would just put the student ID that I had just on the table. So they saw, like, there were context clues that I was going to school. However,
they didn't need to actually know. They just needed to think.
They just needed to think. Like, I would just have a schedule out, or I would just have like my ID, and it's like, okay, like.
Smart.
So it really stopped a lot of questions, but then I had to get off my chest. So I did tell my sister, who's like my best friend. So I told her.
Nice.
She's the only one who knew. So I didn't tell my parents for about, I would say about 8 months. For sure, it was like 8 months go by.
Okay.
And then the whole time I was working, still had like connections with law firms, right? So I was working like there, but while I was working there, I was, when I would leave work, I would just work on my business, because I had to think about what I wanted to do most, and it was event planning.
Nice.
And I was like, I really want to do this, and and I had to dissect the reason why I wanted to go to law school, and it was because the money, like to help my family, like that was the reason. I just thought that was like the path.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, and I was like, why can't I do that with something else?
Yeah.
And feel happy.
Yeah, and that's, you dropping gems right now. Hold on, let's unpack that. So you said the reason why you even really wanted to go to law school was because of the money aspect and because you wanted to help your family.
Yes.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, listen to that. At first, it was about the money. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm assuming you want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But when we prioritize money over happiness, which is obviously what she didn't do, then you're going down a path that is not gonna, end in happiness. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yep.
But because she had that mentality shift, then she's like, well, why don't I do something, that allows me to make money as well as make me happy?
Yeah.
So I think that's great, and I feel like a lot of people really need to hear that. Not just from me, you know what I'm saying, from somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm not crazy. Other people understand that. It's not just about the money.
It's not.
But understand too that when she's pursuing what's making her happy, it's making her money.
Yes.
So speaking of making money, let's talk about right now. So right now it's what? May what? Hold on, let me check my phone. The 10th.
Yes.
Today's May 10th, and we are hopefully towards the end of the pandemic.
Yes, I'm thinking we are.
Okay, so talk to us about how that's affected you, specifically because your business is literally to bring people together, and right now, the world, especially America, wants to have us in a situation where we're continuously spread apart.
Well, the huge issue for me is that it's actually illegal for me to do anything because small gatherings are banned. So I literally can't even plan like a little baby shower or anything. I'm totally screwed right now. And I thought I was super business savvy until this happened. And then I realized, wow, like this is like the least recession proof thing you could have done. And like, look what's happening now. So it's affected me in every single way, to the point where everyone is scared to even reply to my emails because they don't want to commit to anything, because the news changes every day. Excuse me. The news changes every day. So the problem with that is that people will be all excited to plan their wedding and maybe reschedule for August, and then all of a sudden, they're like, never mind, I want to try for 2021. So now we're like not even trying to even commit to this year anymore.
Yeah.
Before, we were totally about the fall, and now it's like, no, next year we'll go for it.
So how do you feel about that level of fear in people, and tying the media into it? Excuse me. How do you feel about that?
I would love more than anything for the economy to be back open, for not even for me, but for so many people. I mean, being in this industry, I realize how many people are affected, because not only do they work off people having gatherings or events, but also there are people that work off just tips alone, pay people's whole lives. Like, and it's like, there's no unemployment that can suffice for that. There's no way that can be supplemented, which is like the huge issue, because it's like I was telling you earlier, it's like putting band-aids over bullet holes. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. First of all, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I love that phrase. I've never heard this before. Obviously, until you mentioned it, but putting band-aids over bullet wounds. Yes. That's crazy. You brought up a good point in the aspect of unemployment.
Yes.
So this is something that I've kind of been holding back on talking about until recently the other day. Actually, I haven't even posted that video, but I'll post it this week. So I did research. Yeah. And so it upsets me so much when I hear people talk about how this president right now, President Trump, prioritizes the economy over people. And I think that's a ridiculous statement, specifically because I would be concerned if we had somebody in office that didn't give a damn about the economy. Because when you give a damn about the economy, you have to attribute that to giving a damn about your people.
You have to.
Because when you want people to go back to work, you want them to provide for their families. Yep. And exactly like you just said, there's a lot of people who are getting unemployment. I believe unemployment right now is at like 26.5 million plus.
So crazy.
So it's a lot of people. Unemployment is not covering everybody's bill. It's just not a thing. And a $1,200 check is not covering a lot of people's bills.
Nope.
Now, if you're back home in Texas, $1,200 can really help. But in California, bruh, that's not even covering half of some of these people's rent.
Yes.
So just understanding that, we're lucky to have somebody in office who wants to get the country back reopened. So we'll just move on to the next topic. I got some questions for you.
Okay.
This is gonna be fun.
Okay.
All right, sweet. All right, so I've got 3 questions for you. So this is a new segment, like I was telling you about.
Yeah.
This is the new format that my podcast is gonna go towards in regards to, guests coming on. So there's gonna be 2 sets of questions. The first set of questions are going to be 3 questions that I'm going to ask everybody that comes onto the platform, and hopefully they all have entrepreneurship advice for people. The second set of questions is called the quickness question session. I thought of it. It sounded kind of clever. If it's not clever, you don't like it, I really don't give a damn. All right, so the quickness question session. Oh my gosh, did I just delete it?
But you're deleted though.
Oh shoot, no, I got it. Okay. All right, it's cool. I'm going to take a screenshot. All right, so the quickness question session is, I'm going to ask you 3 to 5 random questions. Depending on your answers, I might go to 5. And they're just random questions.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right, so let's get it started. First of all, what are 3 books that you recommend to my audience that want to get involved? Well, just 3 books, period.
Okay, 3 books is Think and Grow Rich. Second book is Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. And then the third book is my absolute favorite, which is Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes.
Oh, I remember you mentioning that on your post.
Yes.
I haven't read it though.
Year of Yes really changed my life because, short synopsis, it's basically Shonda decides she takes a whole year of her life and says yes to everything because she was an introvert, and her family said, you're missing out on all these opportunities because you never say yes.
Right.
And it changed her life. And then for a year, I said yes to everything.
Gotcha.
And then I just kept saying yes.
Oh, so that's where you're at now? You just say yes to everything?
I'm more selective.
Okay, cool. I was about to ask. I was like,
my first 2 years of business, I did say yes to
Gotcha.
everything. I met with people it didn't even matter if I met with.
Dude, hold on. First of all, let's unpack this. I'm so glad you brought it up because now I don't have to bring it up. Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yes.
Oh! Yo, so I'm pretty sure not everybody, most people that follow me pretty much knows who Garyvee is.
Yeah.
Garyvee is the man. Yeah. So please tell us about your experience with Garyvee.
Yeah. So I too love Gary, like 100%. I mean, I'm self-taught entrepreneur, and it was highly because of all of his videos. Like, it gave me all the motivation I needed, and he gives all the advice that I needed. So with that said, I was determined. He was my dream client. I wanted to book him to do any kind of event. It didn't even matter to me. Like, I just wanted to do something for him to just build that rapport and just to be there. Right. And I finally got to do his so they had a VaynerMedia's 10-year anniversary and global holiday party last December, and I got to plan that, and it was like my favorite event that I've ever done, and it was just like everything I wanted it to be.
Where was it? Where was it?
It was in New York.
New York.
Yep, it was in New York, and it was at, they have 2 offices in New York, so it was at one of their offices, and on their top floor, they had like a huge empty space that looked like a warehouse, and we converted that into a party.
That's legit.
Yeah.
So, whew. And this is, at this point, you had been in business for how long?
I've been in business for about 6 years.
Okay, let's talk about that too, right?
Yeah.
So, dang, I know we were at the end, but she just keeps going. So, she's been in business for 6 years.
Yeah.
Did you ever think at one point that it would take you 6 years to get Garyvee? Or were you honestly expecting to do it sooner?
You know, I was expecting to do, every time, I wanted to do it the year before, but I knew that with every opportunity that I got, I was like, you know, God is probably giving me an event that I'm going to like fall flat on my face on, and I'm going to learn whatever I screwed up there to do better at Gary's.
Gotcha.
So like that's how I looked at it. I was like, because there are a lot of events when I was just like learning that I like didn't do a great job at, that like I like reflected on the event and I realized I could have done things better, and I was like, that's only for like when it needs to be perfect, when it's someone like Gary.
Yeah. That's legit. So talk to us about the failures. I've got another question too, but talk to us about the fail. Well, first, before we get into the other failures, what do you think the most embarrassing moment for you in business, specifically in business, has been so far?
Ooh, my most embarrassing moment.
I'm not sure if you have a few, but like, what's the most embarrassing?
My most embarrassing moment, I would say it was when I was really sick at an event. And I had one of my girls who I was like really bad at hiring in the beginning. Like I didn't vet anyone, like anyone who was like, oh, I'm passionate, I want to help. Like I was like, come on.
Yeah.
And so I didn't vet them well, and I literally like took an hour off during the wedding, and it just all went to hell. And it was just like it was a mess. It was like I was like a year and a half in business, and I was like on my deathbed, basically.
What happened? How'd it go to shit?
Okay, so they just had to follow the timeline. Like, hey, remind the DJ to play the first dance. They didn't. We went the whole wedding without cutting the cake, and it was like $2,000 cake, and then so that was like a huge issue. There's like a note section on the side of the timeline, and like the bride was more heavy set, so she didn't want to be lifted in the chairs. Yeah. But they scooped her in the chairs anyway, so it was like really embarrassing for her. So it's like secondhand embarrassment because you're seeing her like, oh my gosh, like stressed out about it. So it was just really bad because there were a lot of like influential people there that were like before the wedding. They were like, oh, I see that you're really sick, but like I know it's gonna go so well. Can't wait to refer you to everybody. Yeah. And then it was just like, I just wanted to like hide. It was really bad.
That's terrible. And that leads me, oh man, I've got questions, and I have a question written down that pertains to that. So talk about, I guess, more of the failures and what that's like. First of all, I love the mentality of not allowing failure to just stop you from going, but taking notes from said failures and applying them so that when you get to the level that you want to be at, a Garyvee level, then you're good. So kind of talk to us about some other failures that you can reflect on.
Yeah, so
and what you learned from them.
Honestly, my whole first 2 years of business, I failed at everything. Everything was trial and error for me. So I would read something and try it. Like, that is how impulsive I was. I was like, oh, well, gotta try it. Just cross it off the list, And I, my first 2 years of business, I, cried. I cried, 30 times. And these were, real cries. These were, forget it. Let me go on, LinkedIn and, change my whole bio to get a regular job. Cries, okay? I was at my brink because I felt like I couldn't get it right. And I felt like I wasn't choosing the right clients, and I felt like I was not managing their expectations well, and I was just like, maybe this isn't for me, this is really stressful, and then the money was so random in the begining that I was like, I can't even time this. I don't even know so every time something happened that was a failure, it hit hard.
Yeah.
If a client was upset about the way the flowers looked, even though I told them they would send me a picture of a bouquet that was maybe $500.
Right.
But I would say, okay, but their budget was $50. So I would say, okay, you have to get a way smaller version of that, and you have to take the roses out, and we'll have to have a flower that resembles that. But then I didn't write anything down. I didn't write that in the contract. So then on the day of, and they see like, wait, this is a picture I showed you.
Yeah.
Then there was this huge discrepancy and they were angry. But it's like, no, we talked about it.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about it verbally, but did I write that down in the contract? And now my contract looks crazy because it's just like,
handwritten stuff on it?
It's my contract just says everything I've been through, I like add it.
Gotcha.
I'm just like, so it's like now people have to, they're reading it, they're like, oh, why is this a policy now? Well, this is what happened. So
we have a saying in the Navy that all instructions or all rules are written in blood. There's a lot of crazy signs you'll see that are blatantly obvious. When you're in this area, obviously wear a helmet. But the reason why these signs are plastered everywhere is because somebody didn't wear a helmet and someone died. So all of the stipulations you have in your contracts are obviously there from previously bad experiences.
Yes.
So I love that you're able to, one, be persistent.
Yeah.
That's huge. And two, to be able to pull something out of every failure that you had, out of every lesson. You cried 30 times, probably more. She's just probably being conservative right now because she doesn't talk enough. She's a crybaby. But listen to that, guys. She failed a lot within the first 2 years, and she kept going. And now she's at a point where she's doing much better. Even during the pandemic, she's able to keep the lights on and feed her dog. And allow him to take baths and stuff. So I think that's great. I think that's huge. So first of all, congrats. I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
All right. So now moving on to so this is the quickness question session. So these are random questions that I'm gonna ask my guest Nicole, and hopefully she answers with the quickness, as my father used to say. I'm gonna ask you a question, Sonny. You need to answer with the quickness.
Dang the pressure.
All right. So this one ties into your sickness. That embarrassing moment. When you're in public and you have to fart, how do you execute? This ought to be good.
How do I execute?
How do you execute?
I wait. I would wait because there's no one around me.
Okay, so in a crowd of people.
In a crowd of people?
You're holding it.
Yeah, and it will just go away.
Really?
Yeah, you've never done that? It's never gone away?
Man, at a certain point, it just slips out, to be honest. No, literally, there's been times where I'm like, bro, hold it.
Honestly, I'm sure they just gradually slip out at some point, but I would hold it. You know, if you hold it, I'm actually...
All right, so, another question.
Yeah.
Do you play video games?
No.
Wow, okay.
That's
Dang,
cool. Look at that. Wow, that's so judgmental.
There's no judgment, I promise. I'm sorry, there's not really. I had a second question to that, but I can't ask the second question because she only played it. That's cool. All right. What male celebrity do you wish was your brother?
My brother.
Oof, got him. She thought that was going to be
dead or alive? Say dead so I can kill this answer.
Okay, well, alive. No, let's go dead. All right, dead.
My brother, Kobe Bryant, wish he was my brother for
sure.
That's
a good one.
Yeah, he's like, he would be the most iconic family member, and people would second guess everything. Like,
dang,
they ever did anything.
That's a good one. That's solid, man. Kobe, rest in peace, brother. We love you. Golly. All right. Do you spell the color gray G-R-E-Y or G-R-A-Y?
G-R-E-Y.
Is that correct?
It's correct.
Are you sure?
Both are correct.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. As a kid, what is the dumbest thing you've ever stolen? And if you tell me you ain't never don't lie to me.
I know the dumbest thing I stole.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's go.
So I think I was like 9. I was at Target, and there was these little keychains that had like a little tiny little. It was like a little mini notebook, and I just stole it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You stole a mini notebook.
It was like, it had a keychain. It was real cute. Like, you could just clip it onto your jeans. Real cute.
All right. No offense, but that's pretty dumb.
Well, you asked.
I think the dumbest, first of all, let me answer a couple of these questions myself. So normally I'm not going to answer these questions. I might just answer these questions. I don't know. For me, when I'm in a crowd of people and I have to fart, how do I execute? I execute.
That is horrible.
It depends on where we're at. Don't get me wrong. If I'm at, okay, let's be honest. If I'm at the movies and I gotta let one rip and I'm in line, I'm sorry.
That is a mess.
Stacy behind me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So that's how I execute. Let's say, what's another good one? The dumbest thing I've ever stolen. Well, I've never stolen. All right, so that's that. Okay, all right. The dumbest thing I've ever stolen, I would have to say, man, I would only steal essential stuff like candy, probably a pair of
Candy's essential.
Candy's essential. All right, so look, I stole a pair of basketball shorts, and I had a culprit with me, but I'm not gonna name his name.
That's pretty advanced stealing.
Yo, so check it out. Let me tell you how it happened. So
Yeah.
we were me and my culprit best friend, we were at the mall, and we were going to my friend Carlos's birthday party. Carlos Acosta, we love you, brother. So we're going to his birthday party, and it was a pool party. So I had to have a pair of something to swim in.
Yeah.
So we saw a pair of basketball shorts, and I think not Carlos, but my culprit, my partner in crime, my partner in crime still has his shorts.
Oh my gosh.
So we took them off the hanger, we took them off the rack, and we had to like rip a piece of the fabric of the basketball shorts to get the little thingy that detects, that goes off.
How do you? Wow, that's
We
so.
literally just like ripped it off, and so both of our shorts had like little holes in them, but you couldn't really tell.
I always thought that gave a much bigger hole. Wow.
No, it wasn't.
Wow.
We had to like. It wasn't easy. But
Yeah.
we really
You did it.
We were young and dumb.
Yeah.
We were young and dumb, and we wanted to swim because there were girls there. So.
Yeah, it makes sense. It was worth it, I'm sure.
It was worth it at the time.
Yeah.
It was worth it at the time. But
Yeah.
now that I look back on it, that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever stolen.
Yeah.
I think there was one more question. Other than
Yeah.
that, I don't think I have anything else. Wait, hold on. Oh, that's right. We didn't even get into this. We got into how you did. All right. Advice for people wanting to get started into entrepreneurship.
Advice for people who want to get started: please just get started. Please, if you wait, it will be the biggest mistake, because you have to go through the trial and error anyways. So just you thinking you can start when everything's perfect is not real, because you're still gonna have to go through the trial and error, and you have to start right away, because you're gonna start just researching and listening to podcasts and watching videos, and you're gonna compile all this information, but you can't apply it.
Application is so key.
Yes.
I love that that's the advice you gave. I agree 1,000%.